Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, welcome back to my channel. If you are seeing this beautiful face for the first time, my name is Zini and I based here in Canada. Yes. How are you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are good. Especially hope you guys are staying safe. Yes. To my new subscribers, you guys are highly welcome. Thank you for joining this beautiful family. You are highly welcome. And to my old subscribers, thank you so much for always watching my video. I really, really appreciate. God bless you all. So, guys, without wasting much of your time, let's dive into the video. Okay. So guys, in today's video, we are going to discuss a lot and I believe you guys will learn from this particular video. So in this vlog, you guys can see our special guest. Yay! Let's allow our guest to introduce herself. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Angela Azanyeka, and here I am. I'm in Idaho, United States.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss about marrying from out of your country, like marrying out of your let's say yeah country. Yes. So we have few questions to ask you, Mrs. Angela. And guys, don't forget, she's my question
Wife.
for you, Mrs.
Yeah.
Angela. Why do you prefer to marry an African guy? Like, why do you prefer to leave your own country, to leave your own yeah, country to get married to another country like an African man? Like how? How did it happen? Why? Like
So I grew up in Idaho, and the kind of racial diversity that you see in Idaho is there's a lot of Caucasian people, and then um, there's a lot of Latino people that come because it's an agricultural area, and so there's a lot of farm working jobs. And anyway, so growing up, I mostly saw Latino people and Caucasians. And I don't remember the first time I saw someone that was of a different race. Um, but I know that it was most certainly on TV for years before I actually saw someone in the flesh. But I just remember always seeing people with black skin and thinking how beautiful they were. Because they have these like really big, beautiful white teeth. And like, I just think that all the features, yeah, exactly. All your features are just more accentuated than mine are. You have bigger eyes and um, the like your features on your face stick out. Like they're more accented because of the contrast. And
yeah,
I was very attracted to that from a very young age. Um, I've also always been really into like African drumming and music from Africa, which I understand is an entire continent. So um, that can mean a lot of things. But um, I've just always been really interested in that. And then growing up somewhere where no one even lived here that was African or African American, I just never thought it would be a part of my uh, future. But I definitely had like really intense like man crushes on black men when I was in high school. So uh, when I met your brother, particularly, I'd been dating online for almost 2 years, and I was pretty tired of it because it was way more educational in many ways that I didn't want to be educated. If you haven't ever had to date online, a lot of times people are just kind of there to hook up. They're not really looking for something serious. And immediately, your brother was not those things. He spoke to me on the phone for over a month before we even met in person. Um, and he, when we went on our first date, I think at the end of the date, he said that he wanted to be my boyfriend, and I was like, "What? Who are you? Like, who says that? No one says that." Because not like in my religious culture, it's more common for people to be kind of like marriage oriented when they're dating, but there's still like American dating versus Nigerian dating, and it was a really big surprise to me. Because I was just like, you don't know me, like how can I be your girlfriend? And and he was like, I don't understand what you mean. I don't get what the problem is. So and I was just like, yeah, I quickly realized through our conversations and meeting a few of his family members online, not in person. I guess in person, yeah, we met with your uncle, who's a priest,
Yeah.
Father Al. Yeah, but mostly online. I it became pretty apparent to me that culturally, even though we grew up in completely different parts of the world and spoke different languages, that we actually have a lot in common. Um, as far as like, I get not that he ever had expectations of who I am. That's actually kind of one of the things I really love about him, is that his there's zero expectations. It's just this is who you are, and I love you as you are.
Yeah.
But kind of his ideas and moral code were very similar to mine. Um, and the treatment of women, and if I wanted to work or if I wanted to stay home with kids, it was basically my choice, not like an expectation either way, which was really important to me. So yeah, I'm all around attracted to someone that is not of my culture and race, because there are similarities, but I've always been attracted to people that are dark, and so yeah.
Okay, that's that. And I want to ship in something. African men, um, they go straight to the point. Like, up to you. I want you to be my wife, and that's it. I want you to be my husband. That's it. So that's I don't know. That's who they are. Yeah. So sorry guys, if you see me looking down, I wrote all my questions here. So our next question is, how do you cope with his language and culture? Like, do you like do you find it difficult to learn his language or culture or even our local food?
Ah, okay, so language wise, I was a missionary in Honduras for 18 months. And before I was a missionary, I only spoke English. And I always had, and I don't know how much of it was influenced by like just people around me that felt this way versus how I actually felt about it. But there's always this assumption for some reason that if people go into their native tongue, that they want to say something about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why that is. I guess we all just kind of assume the worst of other people or whatever. But the reality that
Mhm.
I found once I spoke more than one language is that people are most comfortable speaking in their native tongue because it's the easiest way to express themselves. And so um, I stopped being uh, scared of that when other people would speak. And quite frankly, if someone does want to say something about me, I probably don't know them that well, and it's not a big deal. Like, why do I care what they think? So, um, kind of moving forward, that's just like a backstory of like me and how I feel about that, because I had that experience, and I it just doesn't bother me when other people speak a different language. As far as Igbo goes, I it, I think actually when we first got married and when we were dating, Obi was actually really reticent to help me learn Igbo. He didn't think that it was necessary. I remember when we got married, we went to Los Angeles and went to an African food restaurant, and the waitress there, the owner, kept saying how he needed to give me an Igbo name, and he was really like kind of angry at her for saying something like that. He's like, I don't need to do that, and that kind of thing. And I honestly, like, I was sitting there listening to him, I'm like, I don't understand why he's so upset about this. Like, I wouldn't mind having, another name. It's not that big of a deal to me. And I think that in Igbo, one thing that's really interesting to me, and I think is really beautiful, is that all of your names have some kind of reference back to God or deity or royalty, and I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any problem with it, but it's funny because actually in the last couple of months he actually decided he wanted me to have an Igbo name, and so he's been calling me an Igbo name, but he didn't even remember that that had happened. So, but when we first got married, like he was reticent to even try to help me to learn Igbo. He just didn't. I don't know if he thought that I was afraid I was gonna feel like he was trying to change me. I don't know. I don't know what it was. He just didn't seem that interested in it. I even asked him for, having already learned a couple other languages as second and third languages. Um, I kind of wanted it to be the most organic way of learning, which is how a child learns, which is essentially just being around it, hearing it, reading it, speaking it, hearing other people. Um, and so I asked him for like his five favorite child books in Igbo, and he's like, they don't exist. I was like, he's like, babe, like even people that are born in Igbo country, some of them don't speak Igbo well. I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, and it's a really hard language to read. And so I was like, well, okay. And that's basically like where it stayed.
Okay.
Now we have a daughter, and so we've been teaching her. I've been trying to teach her things in Igbo, which means I've been learning them. So I've helped her, if she learns something in English, like a body part, then I'll try to say it to her in Igbo as well. And she knows them pretty well, the ones that I know. And so that's kind of where we're at with it. Like I can say Kedu, and I can like quote a song that I know, but I don't really know Igbo. Not for lack of trying or interest, but it just hasn't happened yet. As far as the food goes, oh boy. So I like spicy food. I have no problem with spicy food. There are certain things that you're used to eating that I'm just not crazy about. I like jollof rice. I actually like it the best when Obi cooks it. I've had it at restaurants and I'm like, this is not doing it for me. But when he does it, I think it's done very well.
The
But
soups.
there's certain the soups, I like some of them and others I don't like. I am really bad at eating fufu. I just can't do it. Um, and when I say that, it's not because like the texture, whatever, grosses me out. It's like the whole idea of swallowing something that you haven't masticated. I just can't get it past my head. So when I eat it completely wrong, like 100% wrong, which makes it less enjoyable because like if you can imagine like chewing all the fufu that you eat when you're doing stew, like it's not going to be enjoyable.
We don't chew fufu. We don't. You just swallow.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't like I don't I haven't been able to do it yet. So anyway, I'll eat the stew without the fufu.
Like it's gradually, like it's a gradual process. You'll get there. Do you know how to cook any Igbo food?
No, I don't. I either need to come visit you in Canada or go to Nigeria and see your mom so she can teach me.
Come visit me. All the dishes. It's
I
okay.
am supportive of it, 100%. Speak your language, especially now that we have a daughter. I think that she should learn both languages.
Me, if
Yeah.
I told you the last time we talked that from now on, I'm not gonna speak English for you again. Like, and if I'm talking to Dara, I won't speak English again for her.
Well, and I remember that was something that we were talking about. I think it's unfortunate that in the United States, it's seen as like this really amazing thing if you're multilingual, whereas like in most other parts of the world, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
I know so many people from Europe who speak 3 or 4 languages, and it's just like, oh, let's just add another one on. And so I'm really supportive of it. I think that
So our last question for today is: if you were to go back and make another marital decision, what will you do differently? Will you still go for an African man, or will you change that mindset?
um, I'm very happy with the person that I chose to marry. I grew up in a home where my parents were divorced when I was a month old. And so for a very long time, I didn't want to get married, when I was younger. And for a very long time, I was very fearful of having a family. But as I got into adulthood, I knew that it was something that I would regret if I didn't have. Um, and but the one thing that was like always kind of held me back was like, but how do you know? Like, how do you know that someone really wants to be with you their whole life? And I think the reality is that none of us know for sure. But that goes back to that kind of cultural thing that I was talking about. I think that when, like, while there are instances when divorce is necessary, I think that it's important to marry someone that really doesn't want that to be an option or like a word in their vocabulary. And pretty early on when I met Obi, I just saw someone that like I I like, you know, obviously there were many more attributes and characteristics that just made it feel like it would really work. And the so I wouldn't choose someone else. I'm very, very happily married and hope to be for the rest of my life. Um I think the only thing that I would change is that I could have like gone to Nigeria and met your family. I always wanted to do that until we got married first and anything anyway. But you know, I really mourn that I haven't been able to meet your father who passed away before we made back there. So that I would have, you know, done a little differently if I'd had a different option.
Yeah.
And but other than that, no, I wouldn't change anything.
Okay, thank you so much. One last question.
You can ask as many questions as you like.
um, if they should tell you to go to Nigeria with your husband and stay there permanently, like if they should like, okay, if your mother-in-law or your husband now said, "Oh, babe, we are moving to Nigeria and we are not coming back to America," what would be your take on it?
um, I mean, I wouldn't be against living there for a time. I think that I get tired of any place for too long, to be perfectly honest. But you know, I mentioned I'd lived in Honduras for a year and a half. I've bike toured in Europe several summers. I've been to China. I've traveled quite a bit, and I really enjoy not being a tourist. I enjoy being a part of the landscape that I'm in and the people where I am. And that's really interesting to me. So I don't think that it would be like an end all for me. I mean, I would definitely go. Um, uh, Employment wise, I do not have a skill set that I think would be very useful in Nigeria as a musician. So, a classical musician, there's just like, it's not really so I wouldn't be very helpful financially there, but I would welcome going there for, you know, a year or two or three. I wouldn't have any problem with that.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't have any questions again.
Yes.
Thank you so much for talking to us and for sharing your experiences. We really, really appreciate, and I pray that God will continue to bless your marriage. So, guys, that will be the end of this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and also share. Thank you so much, Mrs. Angela. I really, really appreciate. God bless you. And thank you so much, guys, for watching up until now. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.